Hi everybody, it's me, Tina, and today what I'm doing is another video on the Reposition tool and showing you how to reposition your needle after you have rolled your quilt. Okay, so let's look at the quilt right now. I have rolled my quilt, and the biggest thing that you need to remember is that when you roll your quilt up, you've got to be able to see the last line of the row that you just did, all right? Now, with the quilt getting bigger on the top row, you've also got to remember that depending on how big your pattern is, you've got to make sure that your machine can go back. As you're rolling your quilt, it's going to get bigger behind the machine, so you may have to come out more. At this point, after you've finished that row, you've rolled your quilt, you want to line your sew head up on the last line of the pattern you were just working on. Now, once you've done that, you're going to, on the screen, here's where my quilt head is. I'm going to go ahead and scroll into the pattern. This is where I want my needle positioned. Now we've positioned it on the quilt, so we're going to position it on our computer. At this point, go ahead and hit Reposition Sew Head. I'm going to zoom in on this so I get it right on that line. If you don't get it right on the line, go ahead and reset it and try again. Then we are going to align to quilt. All right, so go ahead and zoom out. Now we are at the bottom of the row that we just did. So at this point, when I click on this pattern, this would be my 5th row, I should be able to move my sew head right into the green square, and I should be all set up to go. Now, if you look at the quilt, I'm right where I need to be as far as starting my next row. Now, another thing that at this point what you need to do is make sure that go back to the top of your pattern right here. We're going to go up there to make sure that that pattern fits, okay, and you're in the right spot. Also check the right-hand side to make sure that your pattern is going to fit where you need it to fit, okay? So once we get down here, we're ready to go ahead and quilt and sew. Now, a few tricks that may help you if your pattern is pretty large. This pattern that I'm working on right now is 13.21. That's the height. Let's say that you've got a pattern that is 20 inches in height. If you've rolled up, come back down to the quilt, if you've rolled up your pattern and you can still see it, if you know the height of your pattern, you can usually take a tape measure and then go ahead and measure down for your the height of the quilt, and then bring it over to the side, and then you should be able to line it up if you've rolled it up too far. All right. The other thing that you can do is, if you look at the screen, both of my patterns both start at the bottom, okay? Every one of them is starting at the bottom. So if you measure from here to here on your quilt after you've done 2 rows, then you should be able to go in and measure from the next one to the next one, and you'll still be able to line it up. I know that mine is 11.5 from here to here. So if I put 11.5, if I use a tape measure and measure 11.5 inches down, I should be able to be right on the green dot. All right, and I am. When I measured it downward, I am right on the green dot at 11.5 inches. So that's a couple tricks that you can do if you've rolled your pattern up into the quilt top. All right, so that's it for today. I hope this video has helped you out. If you could, please like or comment. I greatly appreciate the feedback. And as always, have a great day quilting.